This week on the SA Rugby Oak podcast.
Outrageous. I did so many fist bumps. I scared the dog. I scared the missus. I was like,
I tell you what, George, after you made me eat those damn garlics, a piece of garlic every time someone scored a try in the first game, you better hope you don't lose today, my friend.
I would love to do it. It would have to maybe be alternative commentary because there was a couple of people behind me at the Twickenham game that will tell you otherwise. They'll be like, don't let him anywhere near a TV, a microphone, which I've got.
Welcome to the SA Rugby Oak podcast with me, Matt, the SA Rugby Oak, and my awesome co-host, Try-Time George.
We're back, baby, and the World Cup has finally kicked off. What a week it's been, or what a weekend it's been.
It's felt like a week, to be honest, this weekend, in the best possible way. I've spent most of it in front of the screen watching the rugby and kind of had to have a little shake of the head earlier when I thought it was a Saturday night. But actually, we are recording Sunday night. We're recording straight after the Boks victory against Scotland. But before that, George, I think we should do a little review of the first round so far. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Let's get into it.
Now, look, just to let everyone know, the Fiji-Wales game is going on right now as we're recording this. So apologies, we can't say anything about that game, but hopefully it's an absolute cracker. We'll be looking out for the highlights of that. But George, I decided today to get a little creative. Get the creative juices flowing as the World Cup has inspired me to do so with a little bit of poetry. A little bit of slam poetry, if you will, in the form of the World Cup review so far. You've got a beer with you.
Okay.
I'd encourage you to have a couple of sips because it is a little cringy at times. But if you do have a little giggle, I think you should do a couple fingers just to make us feel good.
All right. That's I'm down with that. I'm very down with it. It's hot up in England today.
It's hot up in England, so I might be a bit sweaty. But look, I'll try and do this as my poetry as much justice as possible. Let's get into it. You ready?
I'm ready.
Round 1, France versus the All Blacks. Well, it fell pretty flat, full of kicks, missed tackles, penalties, and that. Both teams looked as average as this poem's going to be. It took 65 minutes to get any rugby. The Blues were ahead when it was all over, but neither look like they'll be anywhere at the end of October. Game 2, the Namibians. The Namibians were brave. They battled hard and tried not to cave, but Ange and his Italians showed them who's boss. And at 52-8, it still wasn't Alistair Coetzee's worst ever loss.
Oh, damn.
Oh, Eddie Jones got his first win, with the Wobblies showing they don't belong in the bin. Never has a Tier 1 team needed to beat a Tier 2 so bad. But even so, the Georgians' loss made me a little bit sad. After an early try by Romania, Ireland pulled away. They scored their most ever points in a World Cup that day. But the thing that gave me so much joy to see was old Rob Herring getting a try on his World Cup debut at the age of 33. I am a dad, ladies and gentlemen. England smashed the RGs without scoring a try. Like Yanni de Beer, Ford made his drop kicks fly high. But alas for Ford, whose World Cup's almost over, for he'll be dropped from the squad, replaced by Farrell's shoulder.
I'm going to finish my beer.
Japan needed a good win to prove their worth. They cruised to victory, aiming for a quarter-final berth. Chile were brave, but it wasn't to be. The Blossoms were too good for this new team. The Boks got a win against South Africa A. The Scots tried some stuff, but it didn't go their way. Duan was nowhere, and the Scots scrum fell at the seams. But that no-look pass from Marnie was the stuff of dreams.
Not going to laugh because it was filthy. The kick. Oh,
Thought we'd have a little bit of fun to open the
reenacted it.
game. Well,
Oh,
look,
well done. I enjoyed that, Dad. Well, cheers to you.
cheers. Look, George, why don't you take us through that the ever important Springbok Scotland game?
Oh man, it was a bit of a worrying first half. We looked solid-ish at times, and then you never know what you're going to get with someone like Finn Russell or their backline. They try tricks and things here, and then when they got those 2 scrum penalties in the first half, I thought, uh-oh. But then you just have in the back of your mind, bomb squad. So you know
for sure.
that you've got that in your back pocket. Because you wouldn't expect a Scotland team to take that physicality for 80 minutes.
No, you wouldn't. And to be honest, look, let's go back a little bit. I think that we just need to cover the elephant in the room. Jesse Creel, head-on-hand contact, probably deserved looking at.
Yep, I agree. I felt, because if we want consistency in the game, and Curry's red card yesterday, that, you know what I mean? It was almost like for like in a way. So it should have been looked at. It wasn't one of the very rare occasions the Springboks, I'd say, get away with something. It doesn't happen often, but it has. And I'm sorry to everyone. It would have changed the game completely. So
I think we probably would have been able to cope. No offense to Scotland, but it would have made it probably a more exciting game, probably a better product, to be honest. Frustratingly, that first half was it was a one-armed arm wrestle. To be honest, one-sided arm wrestle. We were arm wrestling ourselves a lot of the time. I think the Boks were dominant throughout. I was listening to the Scottish commentary. It was absolute drivel, talking about the Boks getting tired and talking about the whole build up to the week was the Scotland this, Scotland that, Scotland is a surprise, Scotland. And I think we just reminded everyone really how much better South Africa is than Scotland. Sorry to say, we didn't play particularly well. That first half, look, we gave them a cheeky 3-pointer at the point there. But we came out in the second half. We scored 2 very quick tries. Incredible no-look pass from Marnie Lebok.
No-look kick.
Probably shortlisted for try of the season already. It's filthy. It's filthy what he did, isn't it? Shouldn't be allowed.
It was outrageous. I did so many fist bumps. I scared the dog. I scared the missus. I was like, I'll try to reenact it. I mean, I'm not a flower half, but it was so good to see. He needed that pick-me-up after his missed kicks. He needed a little some, and he brought it.
He did need a little pick-me-up because he was, I think, 2 misses, 2 hits at goal. Look, the NFL started this season. If anyone watches All American football, that is the closest thing to NFL we'll see in rugby, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Apart from the Scottish commentary calling Aaron Sir Colby about 7 times, despite his co-commentator calling him Aaron Sir. Look, it's happening to me now. It was absolutely disgraceful. And then all this talk at halftime. The Scottish scrums are dominating this and that. They won 2 penalties in the first half by scrum. One where we fell over, okay, and we won 1. It was hardly a dominant thing, but we came out and we showed them who's boss. With those early penalties in the second half, and then with the bomb squad, it was a dominant performance without being a good performance. And I think there's a lot for us to do, but it's advantage South Africa in Pool B.
There we go. We take that. I'm happy with it. It wasn't great. A few areas that eyes have opened up on certain positions, maybe, I don't know. But all in all, great. Tech got a win and only 3 points against us. It all points difference comes down to it as well at some point in such a tight group.
Yeah, I think the real shame is we went for a couple of missed poles kicks where we should have gone for the corner and really turned those screws.
Yeah.
We're in competition mode now. We were winning the game significantly. We needed to go for those bonus point tries. That would have been the smart thing to do. Rusty was up there with his lights shining, finding people, but he obviously wasn't telling them to score any more tries, because I think we tried. We just went a little one-dimensional after those 2 tries once we were safe.
Yeah.
Listen, the Scots didn't show me a single thing that made me think that they'll beat Ireland, and Ireland could sneak a bonus points at the end of the round. So it might just, that not getting a bonus point now might already put us in second place in the pool.
Yeah, or we need to beat Romania by 1,000 points. No, I mean, that doesn't make a difference. Do you know what I mean? You're right. The bonus point would have been handy.
Yeah, that would have really given us the confidence to go into Ireland and go, this is for who takes the pool. So, I mean, assuming we have to go and beat Ireland, it's in a couple of weeks' time. Scotland are playing them, I think, last weekend of the pool round. So that'll be quite an interesting game to play after Scotland have being look, they're going to have a couple of tougher games with Tonga and an easy game against Romania before Ireland. But they're going to have one tough game, which I think Tonga will be tough because they can't necessarily start their starting team against all the teams in the pool stages. But when they hit Ireland, that's going to be make or break for them. But we've got a little bit to learn here from this. And what do you think the key lessons that we got to take away?
I think we need to remember, because everyone's sniffing around at how dominant we are with the forwards. We need to just keep doing that, focus on that. And then I might be out of line in saying, I think a couple backline changes need to be made. No, I'm not trying to talk badly of anyone. I just think we played more fluidly against the All Blacks than we did today. Our backline got a lot of ball today. They did get a lot of ball. We tried to get it out to the wing a lot. So I think we need to maybe have someone who shifts the ball around a bit more in the middle.
So let's rejig this back line. I'm happy with Faf. You happy with Faf? I thought he had a great game. Today. Yeah, great cheeky game. Shot at goal as well.
Yeah, I was happy. I was thinking when he went, I was like, oh no, don't do this to Mani. And then he got it. I was like, that's it, Faf. I hate it when that happens, but it happened and it was fine. So rejig it. Happy with him and happy with Mani. Mani, man of the match, player of the match. Yeah. I think I don't want to take anything away from Cheslin or Kirtley, but I think having a bit of a dynamic duo, something slightly different. So like a Kane and Moody and a Cheslin, or an Arendse and a Moody, that would be.
That's an interesting one, because that's what I was touting at the start of this competition. I don't think our best attacking prospects are having Kane and Moody and Cheslin in the same team. It hasn't worked out when they've played together so far. And when I say it hasn't worked out, obviously we've won. Obviously, they absolutely.
Kirtley, sorry.
To have Kirtley and Colby on the same pitch. Sorry. It hasn't worked out in the way I think that we would like it to. I think there was news out the camp. There was whispers that maybe Kanan tweaked something, and that's why he didn't start. But I do think you want that height from Kanan Moody under the high ball. Look, the Wings did great in tying up Dern van der Merwe and making sure everyone knows that he wouldn't make the Springbok squad in a pretty terrible performance from his part. But I would, at this point, and come at me, George, please, but at this point, I would start Kanan Moody and Kirtley Arendse. I think Arendse has got something that maybe Colby has had, but I want to see Arendse. Tell me I'm wrong.
I would like to tell you you're wrong, but there's a fraction of me that is agreeing with you, but there's a bigger piece that isn't. Because Chesy he's just got so. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about Kirtley because he's got a lot of passion, but there's just when people see Cheslin Kolbe in the field, they get a bit worried as well because you never know what he's going to do. I know Kirtley Lawrence is almost a carbon copy of him, but I would have Chesy and Moody and Kirtley on the bench because he can play fullback as well. He played fullback for the Bulls, so he covers a couple of positions in the back line as well. I mean, I don't know if he'll play fullback for us, but just knowing that we've got that, that's for me. I would be happy with that.
Look, I get the most hate on social media for when I touch Cheslin Kolbe, but I don't think he's brought quite what we wanted him to bring over the last 12 months. He keeps getting injured, which kind of stifles his play, and he's an incredible player, and what an awesome, we can sit here and debate this. I've got no problem with Cheslin starting. I absolutely adore the guy, but I think Kane Moody is a different level. I think he is, his glass ceiling is 20 feet higher than Kolbe because he's only just starting to work out his what he can do on an international stage. I think Kolbe, everyone knows and everyone fears that, and that fear factor with Kolbe is, as you say, massive. But right now, I think on form, Kirtley Arendse does not stop scoring tries, and I think he does the fundamentals extremely well. I think Kolbe can also cover 15 off the bench. Why not put him on the bench?
True. That is true as well. It is a conundrum. But like you said, we could go on and on about this. But I'm gonna keep chasing the team. But it's a good conundrum to have.
Yeah, great conundrum to have. I mean, as is the centres. Look, we talked about Jesse Creel possibly getting carded today. Probably should have. He might get cited for that. We'll have to see.
Maybe.
But I definitely think the centre needs a little bit of life to it. I think Andre Esterhazen needs to come in and start. I think he's a better 12. He's a better player than Damien de Linde is at the moment. Damien's a solid player, and he's a solid enough player, but we need some dynamic play at the moment. But who would you put at 13? So say Creel gets knocked out. Does that help our conundrum and get Kane Moody at 13 again?
Yes. So then if Creel gets sanctioned, then 12 Esterhazen and 13 Moody, boom, done. Then you've got, because then you want Makazolo. He's knocking on the door to be on the wing.
Well, then my argument of having either Arendse or Kolbe still comes in because I'd probably then still have Makazole. And I'm so sorry for everyone who's going to hate on me for that. But I think right now one of them is the answer.
And I do agree with that. Not both together, one at a time. It's having two of the same people on the field at the same time. Imagine having one at a time. I don't know. I think if Moody went to centre, you'd have Makazolo and Cheslin, or Makazolo and Kirtley in the 14 and 11 jersey, and Billy Leroux at fullback. He didn't have an incredible game today. It wasn't on for very long.
I don't think he played very well at all.
He didn't have a great game. I don't know if it's the wet, humid conditions. He should be used to it. He's played in Japan, so it is. He played a long time in Japan now. I don't know what it was, but he wasn't his normal self. But I'd still have Billy at fullback. Damien Willems had a good game at fullback. He didn't really do anything wrong. But
yeah, I disagree with you. I think for me now, Villy needs to be a bench guy. Damien's doing too much on the field to even bother starting Villy. I'm a great Villy fan, and I said a couple of months ago he's going to be one of our Boks Centurions, and it's going to be fantastic, and he absolutely deserves it. But right now, Damien Willems is playing at a level that actually Villy needs to start stepping aside, because if we don't put the ball in Damien Willems' hands, we're going to be 2 years down the line, Villy's going to retire, and we're going to be in exactly the same position as we are now. As it is, I think Damien has put enough form on top of his play to warrant starting, and I would think it's stupid to start Villy at this stage. Not saying I think he's a squad player. I think you'd have him in the squad. I think today was probably a bit of rust. It's been a while since he's played. Obviously missing out on the Twickenham extravaganza that we're still all eating our lunch off. But yeah, I think fullback, I think we're fine. I think those centres need to be jigged around, and I think they will be now. We might be forced to do one. The last time Jesse Creel only played one game in a World Cup, we won it. So maybe it's fate. Who knows?
Oh, no, the poor guy.
The poor guy. Look, hopefully the citing commissioner doesn't look at it, but I'm fearful that he will. Anyway, onwards and upwards. The next game's against Romania next weekend, and I think we should probably play a second team, rack some points up, maybe give some people who need a little bit of time, maybe Hendrickse, someone like that, who needs a little bit of time to express themselves and see what happens.
Get back in. Happy with that.
Great. Well, we've gone through the review of the Springboks' first win at the World Cup, fantastic as it was. George, why don't we play a little game?
You're going to play a game of 2 truths, 1 try.
Oh, my absolute favourite. However, I've got a bone to pick with you, George. We had someone write in from a couple of weeks ago. You had a truth that you said was no one has ever scored a hat-trick against the Springboks, and you were lying, George. Imhoff scored in that fateful day when we lost to Argentina, the only time we've lost to Argentina in South Africa. He scored a hat-trick. So, to start off the game this week, George, I'm going to give myself 1 point. Do your worst. And I tell you what, George, after you made me eat those damn garlics, a piece of garlic every time someone scored a try in the first game, you better hope you don't lose today, my friend, because my breath stinks so badly. You're going to smell me all the way in Leeds this whole week, and I'm coming at you.
That's some fighting talk. I like it. I'm sorry about that. I need to do my fact checking big time. That was obviously a very outdated website that I got that stat from. So I take it. 1 point to you, starting things off. So this week on 2 truths, 1 try, we're only going to do 2 editions. So just Bokke and World Cup, because I've already messed up. And for those who haven't watched or listened to this before, 2 truths, 1 try. I lay out 3 statements. Matt needs to sniff out which one is the try. So there are 2 of them are true. 1 of them is a lie. And then the loser does a forfeit. So to start things off this fabulous Sunday evening of the World Cup, we're going to start with the World Cup. So first things first. The 2015 World Cup holds the record for stadium attendance. Well, I don't have the badge, but yeah. So, 2015 World Cup holds the record for the stadium average attendance. Average stadium attendance. South Africa were the top try scorers in the 2019 World Cup. And last one, the average number of tries per game has increased slightly between World Cups.
Can you just repeat that last one there,
quickly?
George?
Last one is the average number of tries per game has increased slightly between World Cups, between 2015 and 2019.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the number of tries probably have increased. I think the stadium attendance probably was in the UK, so that's got a great one. So I'm going to say the lie is the Springboks were the top try scorers in the 2019 World Cup, because I don't think they were.
Damn it. So I've already lost. You son of a gun. New Zealand were the top try scorers with 36 tries. South Africa got 33. Third place.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I don't care about your stats. I'm going to absolutely abuse you this week with your forfeit. And you know what, guys? I'm going to just send me a DM and let's get spicy with it. Let's get some ideas for George's forfeit. Best one wins. But let's finish the game. Let's get one last one. See if George can claw back a little bit of respect, or if I can nil him.
You might be able to know me, Meow. So, Bokke. This is all about the Bokke. So, South Africa conceded the least points in the 2019 World Cup.
Cool.
the Springboks did a Zulu dance similar to the haka up until the 1950s.
Oh.
And the Springboks have the second highest winning percentage in Test rugby out of all major nations.
Okay, so the winning percentage I actually think is probably true. The Zulu dance, I know we have done it, but I don't think it was like an up until we did it every single time. And I think in 2019 I don't think we conceded that many tries. So I'm gonna go with the lie is the Zulu dance.
Damn.
3-0, George.
that was pretty. We did do a Zulu dance, but it didn't finish in 1950. We stopped doing it in like the 1920s.
There we go.
Yes.
I think we should bring it back. Actually, no, I like the impies that come on the field. The Oak's a dentist.
Yeah.
The best.
He's a dentist.
Some kind of rumor. Hey, it's urban legend. The big
Rumorico.
guy who like comes out, Rumorico, is a dentist. I don't know where it even came from. To be honest, I might have made it up.
Where does he get the time to hit the gym?
Well, there's the industry bills are paying for 24-hour gym contracts. So look, I'm quite pleased with that because we gave obviously 1 point to myself to start off because of your lies, and yet because I got 2, I still would have beaten you if there was a third question. So I'm very happy with that. There's going to be no asterisks, nothing. You're getting it next weekend. Watch the socials for the forfeit during next weekend's Rugby World Cup action. George, we are now going to go on to one of my favorite parts of the podcast. You know what it is, of course.
I know what it is.
It's George versus the machine.
George versus the machine.
George, we have asked AI to ask you 3 would you rather questions, World Cup 2023 related. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. Would you rather have tickets for every pool match to the Springboks or a ticket to the World Cup final, but you don't know if the Springboks are going to get to the World Cup final?
That is a tough one. Flipping hell. So I had 2015. I was there with you, and we watched a good number of games, pool stages. Didn't make it to the final.
Didn't make it to that first game that no one talks about ever. That we weren't like 4 meters away from that try. That didn't happen. That I still cry myself to sleep about.
Oh, yes. Do you know what? I would go just to be a gambling man. I'd go with it, and I'd say I would like a final ticket because no matter what, it's going to be a humdinger, and if the Boks is there, even better.
Yikes. Okay, look, it's World Cup final. No matter who's in it, it's got to be amazing. But imagine if it's like England versus Ireland.
I'll sell the ticket. Make profit, baby.
Look, it's a tough one because you get to guarantee see your team play all through the pool stages, which is a pretty cool experience. But I think that World Cup final is pretty tasty. So I'll probably agree with you there. All right, on to the next one. Would you rather meet your favorite rugby player in a chance encounter at a bar post-winning match, or received a signed jersey from your team after the game?
Oh, sweaty jersey signed by everybody.
I didn't say it was sweaty.
Oh.
I didn't say it was sweaty. It could have been just out of the box, but you sound a bit like a pervert. But if you want it sweaty, you can have it sweaty.
Out of the box, off a box, you know what I mean? From the box. I have bumped into Springboks before. I've bumped into my favourite player before in the bloody London Underground. I bumped into Malcolm Marx.
Oh,
Stephen Kitsoff and David Dallander when they I think they lost down here or up here.
yeah,
And it was very brief.
Farrell shoulder.
Yes, that one on Andre. And I would like to, because I think I was such a fangirl. I was like, "Hey guys, can I take a photo?" So I'd like to rectify that and be like, "Hey, how's it, Malcolm? Let me get you a beer, brother, and have a chat." So I'll go with that. That'll be in my mind, my memory forever. A jersey can go up on the wall, but meet the boykie and have a chat. That'll be cool. Okay, Marks,
Listen,
let's do it.
don't forget 2015 World Cup. You and I traveled up to Birmingham, and we managed to sneak into a private area in a very fancy
Walkabout.
Australian pubs, the Walkabouts, and we, unbeknownst to us, it was the private area that the Springbok team was going to be attending for drinks. So we have actually had a bit of an experience like that. I do remember a certain Bok prop who is in the World Cup squad today, hitting on your boss's fiance. We won't say names.
Now it's his wife.
We won't say for now it's his wife, or we won't say names. And a lot of fun was had. A lot of very big guys. I remember Victor Matfield had his hand like that, and the little bottle of beer that was normal sized to everyone else looked about that big in his hand. But what an experience to get to hang out with the Oaks. Adrian Strauss, one of the coolest things that ever happened, when we sheepishly walked up and asked him, "Hey, Adrian, can we have a selfie?" And he was kind of like, no, can't do that now, boys. And turned around, and we were like, "Oh, we just got pied by this, one of the Springbok starting players, future captain, what's going on?" Turns out he was just helping his mate out. Came back, "Come on, boys, let's have a photo." Really cool guy. Arjan, if you're listening, love to have you on sometime. You made our little nights that evening after England got knocked out by Wales.
Brady.
So George, last one for you today. Would you rather have the exclusive access to record the behind-the-scenes footage and interviews throughout the World Cup tournament of the Springboks, a la Chasing the Sun, I think AI is getting to, or be part of the official commentary team for the entire tournament?
Ooh, do you know what? If I was part of the official commentary team, I would need to be bleeped out a hell of a lot.
But assuming that they'd pay you to get into the commentary, so they'd want you to be there. I assume a lot of unbelievable scenes will be happening. But say you're watching the Boks, it's the last minute of the World Cup final. We camped on the try line. Do you want to be doing the commentary, or do you want to be thinking about what you're going to record after the game?
I'm going to be doing the bloody commentary. I'm going to hold it in, rein it in, but inside I'm going to be melting, be like, because you've got to be neutral. You've got to be neutral, but
do you have to be neutral?
I mean, not today. They weren't.
The Scots were neutral on ITV commentary.
No, I mean, I would love to do it. It would have to maybe be alternative commentary, because there was a couple of people behind me at the Twickenham game that will tell you otherwise. They'll be like, "Don't let him anywhere near a TV, a microphone," which I've got in front of me now, because I was horrible. But obviously in the commentary box, you don't get to have a beer, so it's probably a good thing. So do you know what? I'll do the commentary.
No, listen, isn't there a certain South African commentator that used to have a bit of a whiskey every time he commentated?
Oh, Hugh Blades. Unbelievable. I'm not going to name names. I've just named his name.
It goes without saying that I would like to hear you in the commentary, certainly for some key games, and maybe one day we'll set up some live commentary for you. But George, before we go today, I just want to have a little shout out to all the people who are liking, subscribing, downloading, following the podcast. Really, it's been astounding how many people are getting involved in the conversation. Please, if I can just ask anyone who's got a really cool story for "Oh damn rugby, you nasty," get it sent through, because we'd love to get a couple more stories. We did have one that was a little too nasty, so we're not going to have that one. But I think you use your this is a family show sometimes, and we have to control something. But listen, guys, we really appreciate it. We've had such fun doing 5 episodes. We're going to do at least another 5, if not more, in the first season, and just want to say real big thanks to everyone who's listening. George, I'm sure you're the same.
100%. Yeah, guys, thanks so much. We have a lot of fun doing this. It's just 2 friends talking a lot of crap to each other about something we love. So thanks so much, and keep listening, keep subscribing. Maybe
That's
you can only
it,
subscribe
guys.
once, but do it.
Find us on YouTube. Please subscribe on that at SA Rugby Oak Podcast. My Instagram handle is at SA Rugby. George is at TryTime George. Please follow us. Please share us. Please share the pod. Send it to your friends. Send it to your auntie. Send it to your dog. Whoever's listening to podcasts, let's get them on the blower. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's keep rolling and getting this podcast up to a really, really good little rugby community. Anyone who wants to join the conversation, who's got something to say, let us know. We can always bring you onto the podcast as well for a little interview or a little bite-sized comment. George, thank you for today. It's been absolutely awesome celebrating the Springbok win with you. Onwards and upwards, and we'll see you all next week.